If you want to know how to make thumbnails in 2021, then watch this video. All right, boys. So we are logging on Minecraft, and as you can see, we have Photoshop open right behind us. So yeah, Photoshop is open just in case to, get ready for what we're doing today. And that is learning how to make thumbnails. So this is going to be the way on how I make thumbnails. So it's not going to be a way that you could be taught to make thumbnails, if that makes sense. But this is how I make thumbnails. Like, I have my own private server, so I'm going to use that. I also have ways of like looking at certain directions. There's many ways you can make a thumbnail. Like, you could use Lunar replay mod or Badline replay mod. I don't think Lunar has replay mod anymore. I don't think. You can also use NPCs and just take a screenshot. Like, there's many ways you can do it. And the tactic that I'm going to use is the NPC, because NPC is just so much easier. All right, so for anyone that doesn't know, got a haircut. First of all, if you feel me, you feel me. Peep the haircut. Okay, so we're logging on my server. And this right here is my server. This is my thumbnail server, as you can tell. As you can see, this is my NPC. I'm gonna just roll around for a little bit, and you can see that I have a bunch of like thumbnail spots, like right here. And as you can see, that's Bambi. When I was in a call with Caster, we did like a little thumbnail war to see who has a better thumbnail. There's a bunch, like seriously. I've done a bunch of thumbnails all by myself. Okay, so we're gonna find a spot, a different spot, like that's probably in the same like area like this right here, but it's gonna be in a different spot, if that makes sense. Okay, I think this is a pretty good spot. Yeah, I think this is a very good spot. The way I'm gonna be looking is over here, so it's gonna be near the water, but what I'm gonna show you guys is something different. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do if you want to know how to make a thumbnail is you need to go to your inventory, right? If you're in creative, right? Go to your saplings, which I believe is over here. Get some oak saplings, and also type in bone and get some bone meal. Okay, I cannot type. Okay, bone meal, and start placing some saplings on the ground. Place the saplings and start growing them. Okay, I'm gonna place some more, and I'm probably gonna place some in the back too, like right here, so it doesn't show like the water. I mean, it's gonna probably show a little bit of water, but it's not gonna show like most of the water, if that makes sense. All right, so it should have a background like this, which is a very good background. I actually enjoy using trees as a background. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do, since we add our trees, is we're gonna do /npc create cloud OG, which is my character, obviously. So we're gonna go over here and do /npc create cloud OG. The next thing you need to do is you need to equip the person with diamond armor and a sword. So what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna do enchant cloud OG protection 1, and I'm gonna copy that and then do it for all the other pieces. So this is not even a plugin. The only plugin that I used to spawn in my NPC is called Citizens, by the way. I don't think Ward Edit is really required, but Citizens is definitely required if you guys want to use NPCs on your server. And if you don't have a server, then you can simply look up on how to do like a local host, because a local host is like used with your IP address. So if you guys want to use like a local host, then you can. But yeah, if you guys don't have a server and you don't have money for it, you can just do a local host and just look up a video on how to do so. And yeah, just go from there. So you do /enchant the player's name, basically meaning like if I'm on the Cloud OG account, you have to do that name. So enchant Cloud OG protection 1, and protection obviously goes on armor. So that's what you're supposed to do. Now with the sword, it's different. Enchant Cloud OG sharpness 1, or like, I don't know, smite 1 or whatever. It could be anything that only applies to a sword. But as you can see, we have our armor fully enchanted. And now what we want to do is we want to do NPC equip on the NPC and right click on all the armor pieces and the sword. Now, as you can see, this person right here, the NPC, has, the armor and the sword in their hand. Now what we need to do is we need to set a path for our character. Once you do that, you need to exit the equipment editor by doing /npc equip again. And then what we need to do now is we need to do /npc path. Now what this basically does is you set a path on the floor, the player will move that direction. So if you set a path right here, the player will move that direction, and you have to basically do it back and forth. So I'm gonna set a direction right here, right here, right here, right here, and I'm gonna do this 10 times, so then it's infinite. So we're gonna do this 10 times, right? And we're gonna make sure that it's straight. So yeah, this is really all I need to like have a basic, thumbnail or basic screenshot. So the reason I did this is because I obviously want the player in motion to have like a more standing out screenshot. You know what I mean? So I would like a player to, start like walking or running, and I can make it look like it's running through Photoshop, but I want the player to be in motion if I want that effect. Now what you need to do is you need to go to options, go to FOV normal, change your FOV to 50. So then the character's big. Make sure you have your F1 on and take a screenshot. And I'm gonna like go a certain area to take a screenshot. So we're gonna spam screenshot like this. Okay, like that. Boom. And we're gonna keep going. So we're gonna look down a little bit and we're gonna take a screenshot. Wait until he, you know, walks again. All right, there we go. Okay, we're gonna keep taking screenshots. We're gonna take a lot. Okay, there we go. I think that's good. All right, so after you're done with that, you can disconnect from your server. You can exit out if you'd like and go to Photoshop. So I already had Photoshop open because obviously I want to like teach you guys like what to do and stuff. So yeah, luckily I had Photoshop open, but what we're going to do now is we're going to go to percentage app data. And if you want, you can also do Windows key R to pop it up and type percentage app data in here too. But I really don't have to. But for you guys, if you guys don't have this part right here, like percentage app data, then you can do Windows key R and do it from there. Go to your .minecraft, go to your screenshots, go all the way down to the bottom to your recents, and then find your right picture that you want. So like I said, I want a player that's in motion. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna scroll like this, and we're gonna see like what is the right picture for us. I saw this one too. I think that one's pretty good. Okay, we're gonna go back. We're gonna go to this picture right here. Wait, no, it's this one right here. Okay, I really do like this picture. So we're going to use this picture and we're going to drag it onto our Photoshop like this. Usually what people do in Photoshop is what they usually do is they go to like file, new, and then go to new and then, you know, do this. But honestly, what's the point of me doing that if my file size or if my resolution is already like good enough? Because my resolution is automatically 1920 by 1080. Why do I have to do that if they're gonna just give me a larger image size? You know what I mean? Like the image size is under 2 megabytes, which is required for you to have when you're uploading your thumbnail to YouTube. Why do I have to do that? Why do I have to go to new and do that? I don't have to do that. But anyway, what we're gonna do now is we are gonna make our character look a lot bigger, because honestly, from my perspective, when you like zoom out a little bit, the character doesn't look as big in the picture. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna right click on the background, go to layer from background, press OK, and then press Ctrl T and then move it. We're gonna just move it so it looks bigger. So we're gonna like move it like this, right? And I think that's pretty big to me. Yeah, I think this is pretty good. So the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna use this tool right here. It's called the Magic Wand tool. And if you guys want, you guys can press W to go to the Magic Wand tool. It might be selected as quick selection tool. All you have to do is left click and then it should give you the option of Magic Wand tool. You have to press shift and then start, you know, outlining pretty much. Start outlining the armor of the person or outline the person or the NPC. And this doesn't take long at all. The thing I like about this tool is that it's very accurate. Well, not super accurate. Like there's some parts that are probably gonna like be missing, but there's ways like you can adjust it too. But we're just gonna outline it and we're gonna just keep going with it, right? And hopefully we can get like a perfect outline. It kind of messed up this part, the tree. It outlined the tree by accident. That's kind of what I meant by it's not too perfect. All we have to do now is you have to go to where it says polygonal lasso tool, or you can just press L to go there and click it and then press Alt to minus and outline over the character and the outlined mistake. So we're going to outline the outline mistake, and we're going to outline this part, and we're going to outline that part, and we're going to outline like these dots that are inside my character. So then there's no like missing parts when I copy it. Now what we need to do is we need to give this NPC a glow. Now, a lot of people add glows for a reason, because they look better. Okay, so what you need to do is you need to click on your layer 1, right? By double clicking. I double click. I don't know if you have to double click, but I double click. Yeah, but click on your layer 1 and then go to where it says gradient overlay and make sure you check it. After you do that, go to your gradient. Make sure this is set to like a gray color, probably like in the middle or something, or maybe like a little bit above, right? Actually, like right here. Okay. And then the white can also be set to gray too. So we're going to set this to gray so it doesn't look so bad, I guess you can say. Now, as you can see, it's like a gray color. Now what we can do is press OK, go to blend mode where it says normal, click on overlay, And as you can see, we kind of have that little glow there. What we're going to do now is we're going to go to inner glow. So simply click on inner glow. Make sure this is changed to white, right? Put your opacity to maybe like 30. Go to size. Size your glow a little bit to like 90. Make sure your range is at like 70 or 80. And that should be good there, right? And if you want, you can go back to your gradient and like get like a darker color so then it looks better. Because sometimes the darker it is, the better. Like something like this, right? Because you don't want too much glow. Like I think this glow looks perfect right here. Yeah, I think this looks good. So yeah, that's a pretty good glow. As you can see, like it just looks more glowy in my opinion. Now this is what I do all the time. I add an outer glow to my pictures so it stands out, I guess you can say. Like I said with the inner glow, it stands out too. So we're gonna add an outer glow by checking it, right? We don't have to turn it to yellow. I can keep it at white. We don't have to turn it to white, by the way. We can keep it to yellow, but make sure your opacity is at like 30%. And then just size it up a little bit. And then maybe like turn down your opacity, like maybe 20. And then now it should have like a little bit of a glow, as you can see. Like look around your character and you can see that there's a little bit of a glow. And then after that, you can rasterize your layer style and you should be done with your character. Now what we're gonna do is we are going to duplicate our character and make a motion blur. You know, like when you're running and depending on the frame rate, it will capture the frame rate in a motion. Right, so like when the player's running, it shows like the extra frames that is captured when they're running. That's pretty much what I'm gonna do for my character. It's technically a motion blur. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna Control J on the layer 1, and we're gonna make sure the layer 1 copy is under the layer 1. After we do that, we're gonna move our layer 1 over here, and we're gonna like make it a little bit smaller, like this. Press the check mark. And the way I did that, by the way, is I press Control T to like transform it or edit it. After you get done doing that, go to filter, go to blur, go to motion blur, and put your distance like maybe to this distance right here, maybe to like 290. And then if you want, you can still edit it to make it look like there's like a little bit of a blur on your character. I guess we're gonna make it just a little bit bigger because I wanted to make it look more realistic. Okay, so as you can see, when I move closer to the picture, you can see that there's a little bit of a motion blur. There's a motion blur behind the character, and it looks like the player is moving in motion while there's a motion blur in the back of them. And that's what I like to do. It looks cooler like that in my opinion. And as you can see by the layer styles that I added, there's still that glow in the back of the character, because if there was no glow, then it wouldn't look right. You know what I mean? So make sure that you rasterize the layer style first and then copy it and then do the motion blur after, because you still want the same layer styles if you want to do like the same effect and everything. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add a Gaussian blur to our background. So basically we're not going to add a full Gaussian blur to our background, but we're going to have it to parts of it. And the reason why we're doing that is because we wanted to make it look like an actual picture. So it's basically like taking a picture. So like when you take a picture with like a Canon camera, you can see that the whole entire background is blurred. But the closer you are to the camera, the more quality it is. The further you are, the more blurry it is. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna Control J on our layer 0. I don't know what this is called, but make sure that this is off and use your erase tool by pressing E, right? And only erase the bottom part. Sorry, my bad. I forgot to tell you guys what to use as your pixel font and all that. Use your size to be 380. Make sure your hardness is at 0% and make sure that your opacity is at 100% and make sure that your flow is at 100% too. Once you have that, make sure that you erase only the bottom part of your picture. Something like this, right? And the reason why we're doing this is because we're trying to make this thumbnail look as realistic as possible. After you're done doing that, go to filter, go to blur, go to Gaussian blur, and put your Gaussian blur to 6.5 pixels. After you do that, press OK. And then you can enable the layer 0. Because since, you know, my NPC is like running on it, I don't want to blur the part where my NPC is running because it just looks bad, right? Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do is we are going to make a vignette. Now, for anyone that does not know what a vignette is, it's basically where you add like a shadowy black background. It's around these sides. So a shadowy background. What you want to do is you want to go to elliptical tool, and the way to do that is just press M and then left click and then get elliptical. After you do that, go to your layer make sure you have an extra layer by clicking this next to the trash can. Move this layer on the top by simply dragging it and make like a little oval shape, like a side oval like this. And then move it to the middle. Something like this, right? It doesn't have to be fully perfect because either way, like once I get the vignette, I can edit the vignette since I did make a separate layer. Okay, so after you make yourself an oval and move it to the middle, right click it, go to select inverse, go to where it says layer, go to new adjustment layer, go to curves, press OK. And then make sure that your input is at 170. Okay, so 170 over 90. That's not a vignette just yet, but that's parts of a vignette. The reason why it's not a vignette, because obviously it's still a circle. We're trying to blend the vignette to make it look like a vignette. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go to filter, go to Gaussian Blur, and we're going to blur out this vignette. So we're going to make it look pretty good. Okay, so it does look noticeable, but we're not like trying to make it look fully noticeable. Because the thing is if you don't blur it enough, then people are going to notice that you use like a circle kind of method to use a vignette, and you don't want people to think that. So we're probably going to blur it to maybe 200 because I think that's a perfect shape. Okay, I think that's okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to transform it so that it can look better, I guess you can say. You need to like adjust your vignette so then it looks better, I guess you can say. So we're gonna make it bigger so then that the vignette could widen out a little bit. And yeah, I believe that's in the middle. Press the check mark and that should be a vignette. Now you guys probably cannot see the vignette because the shadows are like just a little bit dark, but when I do this, you can see that there like is a vignette there. There is a vignette, 100%. So yeah, that's what I love about vignettes a lot. Vignettes do like make your character and your picture look a lot better. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna add a hue saturation. And the way I did that is I simply go to essentials, make sure that you have essentials, and go to where it says hue saturation. It's right here. You can also do photography if you want, and do the same thing for hue saturation. But honestly, I like using essentials because it's a lot easier. And it's just essentials. So, but yeah, after you get done doing that, you click here, go to where it says hue, right? So yeah, obviously if you like, go overboard, then it's going to look weird and no one wants that. So we're going to saturate it only to 25 because 25 is like a perfect match to not make it look too colorful, but it makes your grass look greener and your armor look bluer, I guess you can say. So yeah, this is saturation. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add curves. So we're going to curve it just a little bit higher because basically what the vignette did is it made the picture look darker. So we're basically adding the curves back to, make it stand out again. So as you can see, the vignette is still there, right? But the darkness is still there also. But we added our curves and the brightness made it a lot better. As you can see, we just made it a little bit bright. Okay, I think this is like the final thing that we're going to do, and that's add text. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to T, and I think press T for text. Yeah. Okay. And we're going to type SOTW, right? And you can use like whatever like font you want. Usually I use Equestrian. So we're going to use Equestrian. So let's do SOTW. We're going to go all the way down to where it says Q. And I believe, actually no, right. Should be right here. Equestrian. There you go. I sometimes use my Craftia too, but Equestrian is like my main man, you feel me? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna press Control T, make it look bigger, right? Something like this. This is like a perfect size for thumbnail, because when you scroll out, SOTW is like a pretty big word, so you know what I mean. After you do that, I highlight it, make sure it's yellow, right, like this. We're gonna make it look less yellowy because I'm gonna tell you guys why in a second. Yeah, that's a good yellow. Okay, so that's yellow. Oop. Okay, I need to do it again because I accidentally exited out. Okay, so yeah, that's kind of a yellow, and then press a check mark, right? We're gonna go to SOTW. We're gonna click it. We're gonna go to drop shadow, and we're gonna make ourselves a little drop shadow by putting the opacity to 100. Make sure our angle is at 90 degrees. Put it to normal. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's on multiply anyway, because whatever, like, it still looks black, so it doesn't matter. But put the size to 0, Put the distance to like 15. And as you can see, we have our little text. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna rasterize layer style. We're gonna go back into it, go to gradient overlay, right? We're gonna like make sure that this is like a little bit, you know, a little bit glowy, and we're gonna put it to overlay. And as you can see, it looks a little bit glow, right? And the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go to inner glow. We're gonna put this to 100. Make sure that this is in white, and we're gonna size this a little bit to like maybe 40. Put the range a little bit high to like maybe 70, and I guess put the opacity down just a little bit, like maybe 30 or 40, and then put the overlay. So yeah, now we have an inner glow, and you probably can't see it that much, but it's there. There's like a little inner glow, and if you want, you can put the opacity a little bit higher. Like that. And then you can see like a little bit of an inner glow. The size can, you know, go a little bit higher too, but I try to make sure that it's not too much, because sometimes when I do too much, it like makes it just look bad. Like, so that's why I did like a dark yellow, because if I do a light yellow, then you wouldn't see like any of the glow, and the glow stands out the most. So that's why I did a lighter yellow. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna rasterize this layer style again, right? And we're gonna add a drop shadow over it. So I like adding drop shadows because they look cleaner. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna check the drop shadow, make sure the opacity is to 100, and we're gonna put the distance to 0. We're gonna add the size, maybe to like 50, spread it out a little bit. So we're gonna make it look something like this. So like put it to 80, spread it a little bit. So yeah, we're probably gonna put it to like maybe 65 or something, and then put the spread to 40, all that. You can copy my settings if you want. Make sure it's on normal, just in case. And then after that, you can Control T, go to arc, custom arc, and then just like simply set it like this, right? That's a proper way to make like a text. Now, there's a lot to a text that you need to like actually follow for you to make an actual text. I'm telling you. There's some people that just do like a color overlay and a drop shadow, but I do more to a text just to make it look more standing out. So yeah, as you can see, we did our thumbnail, and if you want, like, you can like adjust the, you know, thumbnail or like the text if you want. But yeah, that's literally it, man. If you want to follow these steps, then you can like redo this. But this is literally how you make a thumbnail. And it probably seems hard when you look at it the first time, but once you like know how to use Photoshop, it's not really that hard as you think. So you just got to follow my steps and guarantee it's going to look exactly like this one. I'm telling you, man. But anyway, guys, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you guys leave a like. And for anyone that is new, make sure you guys subscribe to my channel. And yeah, I also heard study shows that if you do like and subscribe, you get 2 inches of a pee-pee. Yeah, boys, that's going to be all for this thumbnail tutorial. I'll see you guys later. Take care and have a nice day. Peace out.